Bio ICC 2024 paper. Duplicated chromosomes are joined at a point termed centromere. Next question. The process of conversion of ADP to ATP during photosynthesis is called photophosphorylation. Duplicated chromosomes are joined at a point termed centromere. Explanation. Centromere is the point of attachment of the two sister chromatids of a chromosome and holds the two sister chromatids together until they are separated during cell division. Centromere is the point of attachment of the two sister chromatids of a chromosome and holds the two sister chromatids together until they are separated during cell division. Next, photophosphorylation. Answer. The process of conversion of ADP to ATP during photosynthesis is called photophosphorylation. Adenosine diphosphate is converted to adenosine triphosphate by the addition of a phosphate group, process called phosphorylation. As this is done with the help of light energy during photosynthesis, it is called photophosphorylation. Photo means light. Next, the process in which water is lost from the margins of strawberry leaves is called guttation. Guttation is the process by which water is lost from the leaves in the form of liquid water droplets. This process occurs in morning through pores called hydatodes present in the leaf margins of the strawberry plant. Next, the hormone that affects urination is vasopressin. Vasopressin, also called antidiuretic hormone, is secreted by the posterior lobe of the pituitary gland, controls the osmotic pressure of the body fluid. It promotes the reabsorption of water into the nephrons and put it back into the blood circulation of the body. Next question. Which one of the following helps in the opening of stomata? Potassium ions. Potassium ions help in the opening and closing of the stomatal pores. When potassium plus K plus ion concentration increases in guard cells, they become hypertonic and water enters them. This swells them up and the stomatal pore opens as the membrane stretches. The reverse happens in closing of stomata. Next, a zygote which has Y chromosome inherited from the father will develop into a boy. As the mother always has the X chromosome, the combination will have XY set in this situation, hence it will be a boy. Next, the ear ossicle that transports sound vibration to the inner ear. Steps. Steps is the outermost bone of the middle ear which connects it to the inner ear. The sound vibrations travel from malleus, incus, and then steps to the inner ear. Cochlea is not an ear ossicle. Next, if a person has a heart attack, what must be done immediately? In case of a heart attack, the person must be made comfortable and ventilated. Any kind of stress should be stopped. Hence, loosening of tight clothes, making him lie down in an airy room are correct. Also, we should take the person to the hospital as soon as possible, but engaging in conversation can tire a person and cause stress. Next, adjusting the focal length of the eye lens to view objects at different distances done by PQR, mane by ciliary muscles. By ciliary muscles. Ciliary muscles contract and relax to make eye lens become thick and flattened respectively. This changes the focal length of the eye lens and helps it to view objects at different distances. Next, four friends P, Q, R, S were discussing the examples of genetic disorders. The example they quoted were P, color blindness and malaria, Q, albinism and cholera, R, hemophilia and color blindness, S, hemophilia and albinism. Who gave the correct examples? R and S, mane hemophilia and color blindness, hemophilia and albinism. These are correct examples. Color blindness, malaria, false. Albinism, cholera, false. Explanation: malaria caused by plasmodium and cholera caused by bacterial infection are acquired diseases. Hemophilia is a genetic disorder by which lack of blood clotting ability exists. Color blindness, genetic disorder of identifying certain colors, and albinism, an inherited disorder of skin discoloration, also having very light pale skin and hair, are all genetic diseases. Next, a male gorilla has 48 chromosomes in each of its body cells. How many chromosomes will each of the sperms have? 24 pairs of chromosomes. Gorillas have 48 chromosomes in their body cells which are diploid, mane 2n. Sperm cells are haploid, mane n, meaning they have half the chromosome number. Therefore, each sperm will have 24 chromosomes, half of the diploid number. Osmosis takes place where there is a selectively permeable membrane. Osmosis is the movement of solvent molecules along a concentration gradient across a semi-permeable membrane. This membrane does not allow solute molecules to cross. Next, assertion reason based question. Assertion: sympathetic nervous system prepares the body for violent action against abnormal conditions. Our reason: sympathetic nervous system accelerates heartbeat. Which of the following is correct? Both assertion and reason are correct. Sympathetic nervous system releases catecholamine hormones, mane epinephrine and norepinephrine, that increase the heart rate. Due to this, our body prepares for fight or flight situations and becomes hyperactive or violent under abnormal conditions. Birth rate is the number of live births per 1,000 person in 1 year. Birth rate, also known as natality, is the total number of live human births per 1,000 population for a given period, divided by length of the period in 1 year. Next, industrial melanism was observed in peppered moth. Industrial melanism is a prime demonstration of natural selection, showcasing the evolution of dark colored peppered moths in reaction to air pollution in Great Britain during Industrial Revolution. Birth rate is the number of births per 1,000 person in birth rate is the number of birth per 1,000 person in 1 year. Our assertion reason based question was: assertion: sympathetic nervous system prepares the body for violent action against abnormal conditions. Reason: sympathetic nervous system accelerates the heartbeat. Which one is correct? Both assertion and reason are correct. Sympathetic nervous system releases catecholamine hormones, mane epinephrine and norepinephrine, that increases the heart rate. Due to this, our body prepares for fight or flight situations and becomes hyperactive or violent under abnormal conditions. Next question. Birth rate is the number of live births per 1,000 person in 1 year. Birth rate, also known as natality, is the total number of live human births per 1,000 population for a given period divided by the length of the period in 1 year. Next question. Industrial mechanism was observed in peppered moth. Industrial melanism is a prime demonstration of natural selection, showcasing the evolution of dark colored peppered moths in reaction to air pollution in Great Britain during the Industrial Revolution. Next question. Name the following: unicellular outgrowths from the epidermis of roots. Root hair. These are unicellular outgrowths from root epidermis that help to absorb water and minerals from the soil. Next question. A defect in our eyes in which some parts of the object are in focus while um, The other parts are blurred. Astigmatism. It happens when the cornea or the lens of the eye has irregular curves, causing blur vision due to the egg-shaped surface instead of a round shape. Next question. The tropic movement of plant parts in response to chemicals. Chemotropism. Chemical stimuli can cause plant movement known as chemotropism. Positive chemotropism occurs when the growth response is directed towards the stimulus, while in negative chemotropism, growth response is anyway from the stimulus. An example of positive chemotropism is the growth of pollen tubes towards ovules. Next question. The main nitrogenous waste formed in the body. Urea. It constitutes the main nitrogenous waste product. It is produced in liver and eliminated by the kidneys as urine along the other waste products. Next, the process of attachment of fertilized ovum to the wall of the uterus is called implantation. In fertilization, the sperm and egg fuse together and form zygote in fallopian tube. Then zygote moves through it after divisions. It develops into a morula. Upon reaching the uterus, the morula transforms into a blastocyst. The blastocyst then implants into the uterine wall. Next, arrange and rewrite the terms in each group in correct order to be a logical sequence beginning with the term that is underlined. Australopithecus, Pithecus, Homo erectus, Neanderthal man, Cro-Magnon. This is the sequence of evolution of human through various stages. Australopithecus, Homo erectus, Neanderthal, man, Cro-Magnon. This is a sequence of evolution of human through various stages. Next question. Next sequence is aqueous humor, pupil, vitreous humor, retina. This is the sequence in which parts of eye occur from outside to inwards. Next, receptor, sensory neuron, motor neuron, effector. This is the sequence of steps involved in a reflex arc. Bowman's capsule, proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle, distal convoluted tubule. This is a sequence of parts of nephron in sequence as the filtrate passes through. Next sequence is soil water, ascent of sap, leaves, water vapor. This is the sequence of stages through which water travels from soil to the tip of the plant. Next, study the diagram given below and fill in the blanks with suitable words. In order to prove that carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis, this is the experimental test for verifying that carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. So, in order to prove that carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis, a potted plant is placed in dark for 48 hours to destarch the leaves. Destarch means the leaves in such experiments are always destarched to remove all precious previous stored starch in leaves, otherwise they'll all give the same result with iodine. The leaves in such experiments, mean destarched leaves in such experiments are always destarched to remove all previous stored starch in leaves, otherwise they will all give the same result with iodine. Next, a part of the leaf is inserted in the conical flask containing potassium hydroxide. This is to absorb carbon dioxide, mean KOH absorbs carbon dioxide from the flask. The plant is then placed in sunlight for a few hours. The experimental leaf is tested for starch. The part of the leaf that was inside the conical flask turns brown, whereas the part of the leaf outside turns blue black in color. Brown. In absence of carbon dioxide, there will be no photosynthesis, and hence no starch is made. Or whereas the part of the leaf outside turns blue black in color. In presence of carbon dioxide and all other essential factors, there will be photosynthesis and starch is made. Hence, leaf will show blue black color with iodine, which confirms the presence of starch. Next question. Choose the odd one out from the following terms and name the category of which the others belong. Prothrombin, thrombin, fibrinogen, albinism. albumin, sorry, prothrombin, thrombin, fibrinogen, albumin. All others are blood coagulation factors. Albumin is a blood protein and not involved in blood clotting. Next, tonsil, glomerulus, spleen, lymph nodes, glomerulus. All others are lymphatic organs of the human body. Glomerulus is a part of nephron. Next, neutrophils, basophils, monocytes, eosinophils, um, monocytes. All others are granulocytes. Monocytes are agranulocytes. Next, leaves, styrofoam, grass, cow dung. Styrofoam. All others are biodegradable. Styrofoam is non biodegradable. Next, pulmonary artery, renal artery, coronary artery, hepatic artery. Pulmonary artery. All others carry oxygenated blood. Renal artery to the kidneys. All others carry oxygenated blood to renal artery to the kidneys, coronary artery to the heart, hepatic artery to the liver. Pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Next, match the terms in given in column 1 with the appropriate ones in column 2 and rewrite the correct matching pairs. Leydig cells, testosterone. The main function of the cell is to secrete androgens. Testosterone, a male hormone. Next, stomata. Stomata সাথে diffusion of respiratory gases. Stomata helps in diffusion of gases between the plants and the atmosphere. Plant leaves and the atmosphere. Next question. Ova. Ova, haploid cells. These are male gametes which are haploid. Cranial nerve. Cranial nerves with 12 pairs. The in higher vertebrates, there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Cretinism. Cretinism and lack of thyroxine in children. It is a condition of abnormal mental and physical growth in children due to the lack of thyroid gland hormones or thyroxine. Next, attempt any four questions from this section. Expand the abbreviation NADP, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. Next, mention two adaptations in roots for absorption of water from the soil. Water fills the vacuole of the root hair cell. The root hair is adapted to absorb water from the soil in the following two ways. Numerous elongated root hairs enhance the total root surface area for water reabsorption. Their thin walls accelerate water intake through osmosis. Numerous elongated root hairs enhance the total root surface area for water absorption. Their thin walls accelerate water intake through osmosis. Next, afferent arteriole and efferent arteriole difference. It brings oxygenated blood into the kidney. Efferent arteriole carries deoxygenated blood away from the kidney. Afferent arteriole wide diameter allows more blood flow into the glomerulus, aiding in efficient filtration. Efferent arteriole narrow diameter helps to maintain high pressure in within the glomerulus, crucial for effective filtration. Next, give two examples of water pollutants. Chemical fertilizers and pesticides, DDT, dichloro, diphenyl, trichloroethane, lead, and industrial effluents and oil spills are all water pollutants. Next, Ali has some pea plant in his garden which need a support to grow as seen in the picture given below. Name the phenomena depicted by the shoot in the given picture. Thigmotropism. Thigmotropism is demonstrated by the coiling of tendrils towards objects they touch. Thigmotropism, define the above phenomena. Thigmotropism is a tropic movement in plants when they react to movement or touch from an external stimulus known as a contact stimulus. Next, write the name of the plant marked X. The part marked X is leaf tendril. Name of the part marked X. The part marked X is leaf tendril. Give the biological term for the surgical method of contraception in human females. Tubectomy is the surgical procedure that blocks the fallopian tubes to prevent the egg from the ovary to reaching the uterus. State two harmful effects of acid rain on the environment. The harmful effects of acid rain include damage to vegetation, fresh water sources, change in soil pH, destruction of insects and aquatic life, corrosion of steel structures like bridges, weathering of stone buildings and sculptures, and negative impacts on human health. Next, mention two advantages of transpiration. Transpiration helps in the cooling of plants in summer by evaporation of water from the leaves. Transpiration creates a cooling force which helps in the ascent of sap from roots to the leaves of the plant. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, it came in 2025. Next, two objectives of Sat Bharati Abhiyan came in 2025 as well. Mohan is fond, next question. Mohan is fond of playing basketball. His concentration is on soothing the ball into the opponent basket as given in the picture. Which part of the brain helps Mohan to concentrate in putting the ball into the basket? Cerebrum of the forebrain. The cerebral cortex includes motor and sensory areas as well as extensive regions that do not have clear sensory or motor function known as association areas. These regions are responsible for intricate tasks such as connecting different senses, storing memories, and facilitating communication. Next, name the sense organ that helps to gauge the distance between ball and the basket. Eyes help to see and gauge the distance between the ball and the basket. They send signals to the brain, which then takes necessary decisions. Next, name the part of the brain that coordinates all the voluntary muscles of the body. Cerebellum of hindbrain. The cerebellum is located at the back of the brain and is responsible for coordinating voluntary muscle movements as well as maintaining posture, balance, and equilibrium. Next question. Name the type of nerve which has the fibers of both sensory and motor neurons. Mixed nerve. A mixed nerve has both sensory and motor nerve fibers. Sensory money afferent or motor money efferent nerve fibers. All 31 pairs of spinal nerves are mixed nerves, and 4 out of 12 cranial nerves are also mixed nerves. Next, differentiate between Australopithecus and modern man based on body hair. Australopithecus and modern man. Australopithecus, our distant ancestors, had a significant amount of body hair covering their entire bodies. Modern man have significantly less body hair compared to Australopithecus. Next, Australopithecus, their dense fur provided them with protection against elements and predators, much like fur coats keep us warm in the winter. Modern man, this evolutionary change is attributed to the development of clothing and the migration of earthly humans to different climates as well as protection. Next, mention two advantages of transpiration. High birth rate in India is nah. Sorry. Differentiate between afferent and efferent arterial Okay. Nah. Birth rate in India is very high. Mention two reasons in support of the statement. Birth rate in India can be attributed to several factors. Illiteracy. Many individuals in rural areas are illiterate, uninformed, and superstitious, lacking knowledge about the human reproductive system. Religious and social customs, cultural beliefs, and traditions often discourage people from adhering to family planning practices. Desire for a male child. Many Indian families value male offspring for carrying on family name and providing support to aging parents, leading to the birth of multiple children in pursuit of a son. Lack of access to family planning services. Limited availability of contraceptives coupled with poverty and lack of awareness hinders individuals from adopting small family practices, contributing to the persistently high birth rates. Next question. Give the exact location of pericardium. The pericardium surrounds the heart walls from outside in our chest cavity. It is a protective double layered membrane which protects the heart from shocks and injuries. Next, bicuspid valve. The bicuspid valve is positioned between the left atrium and left ventricle, the two chambers on the left side of the heart. It comprises two cusps to regulate blood flow in a single direction and prevent black backflow from left atrium to left ventricle. Next, given below is a schematic representation of the inheritance of the shape of seeds of garden pea. Answer the questions that follow. Which is the dominant recessive allele of the trait? The dominant allele is the R for round seeds and recessive allele is the small r for wrinkled seeds. This is clear because only round seeds appear in F1 while wrinkled trait gets completely masked in F1. Next, what does the ratio 3 is to 1 in F2 generation represent? 3 is to 1 depicts that our out of 4 seeds, 3 are round and 1 is wrinkled, which means 75% of the F2 progeny has round seeds dominant trait and only 25% has wrinkled seeds mane recessive trait. Next, state Mendel's law of dominance. Mendel's law of dominance explains that when an organism has two different alleles for a trait, the dominant allele will be the one expressed masking the recessive allele. This means that only the dominant allele will determine the organism's phenotype. Next, question number 6. Define the term diapedesis. Diapedesis is the process by which white blood cells, many leukocytes, squeeze through the walls of blood capillaries into the surrounding tissues. This occurs during an immune response, allowing leukocytes to reach sites of infection. About name of disease: diabetes mellitus, diabetes insipidus. Mane distinguish between mellitus and insipidus. Endocrine gland concerned. Endocrine gland concerned diabetes mellitus is pancreas, islet of Langerhans are insipidus, pituitary gland. Mellitus pancreas gland, islet of Langerhans are insipidus pituitary gland on a posterior part. এবার হরমোন ইনভলভড মেলিটাস ইনসুলিন insipidus antidiuretic hormone ADH also known as vasopressin. Next, diseases primary dysfunction. Mellitus inability to produce or use insulin effectively leading to high blood glucose levels. Insipidus inability to regulate water balance leading to excessive urination and thirst. Next, carbon monoxide is dangerous when inhaled in excess. Comment on the statement. When carbon monoxide is inhaled, it binds to hemoglobin and form a stable compound carboxyhemoglobin which cuts off the supply of oxygen to tissue. This deprivation of oxygen affects vital organs like heart, brain and other essential body parts. Inhaling large amounts of carbon monoxide can quickly lead to asphyxiation or death, মানে unconsciousness and suffocation without warning. Clearing carbon monoxide contaminated hemoglobin মানে carboxyhemoglobin requires extended exposure to fresh air or pure oxygen. Next, right to limitations. No, no. Next, the diagram given below shows a section of the human ovary. The diagram given below shows a section of human ovary. Name the process for the release of the part labeled 1. Ovulation. This is the process of releasing of a matured egg from ovary towards the fallopian tube. Next, write the name of the structure marked 2. Corpus luteum. It emerges immediately. It emerges immediately. When corpus luteum emerges immediately following ovulation when an egg is released from the ovary. The main function of the corpus luteum is to secrete hormones, progesterone, to prepare the uterus to support the pregnancy and development of a fetus. Next question. Uh, Draw a neat label diagram of a chloroplast. Chloroplast diagram: stroma, granum, thylakoid, outer membrane, inner membrane. Chroma, granum, thylakoid, outer membrane, inner membrane. Question number 7. Define the term hormone. Hormones are chemical messengers secreted by endocrine glands traveling through the bloodstream to regulate bodily functions such as growth, metabolism, reproduction, and mood by interacting with specific target cells. Next, which parts of the ear are responsible for static equilibrium or dynamic equilibrium? The utricle and saccule in the vestibular system are responsible for static balance. They detect linear movements and position of the head relative to gravity, helping you know if you are upright, tilted, or lying down. Next, dynamic equilibrium. The semicircular canals in the inner ear are primarily responsible for dynamic balance. They detect rotational movements of the head and help us maintain our balance during motion, like when walking, running, or turning quickly. Next, difference to structural difference between artery and vein. Arteries, veins, they are thick walled. Veins, they are thin walled. Arteries, they do not have valves. Veins, they have valves to prevent backflow of blood. Arteries has a wide lumen. Veins has narrow lumens. Next, write two limitations of using a Ganong spotometer to demonstrate the uptake of water. The limitations of using Ganong spotometer to demonstrate the uptake of water are: introducing the air bubble is difficult, ensuring the air bubble is placed correctly in the capillary tube can be challenging, impacting the accuracy of the experiment. The twig may not remain alive for long. The twig used in the setup might lose its vitality quickly, altering the rate of water uptake and leading to unreliable results. Next, air temperature affects the position of the bubble. Changes in air temperature can expand or contract the air bubble, causing fluctuations in its position and affecting measurement consistency. তাহলে limitations of using Ganong spotometer to demonstrate the uptake of water are: introducing the air bubble is difficult, ensuring the air bubble is placed correctly in the capillary tube can be challenging, impacting the accuracy of the experiment. The twig may not remain alive for long. The twig used in the setup might lose its vitality quickly, altering the rate of water uptake and leading to unreliable results. Changes in air temperature can expand or contract the air bubble, causing fluctuations in its position and affecting measurement consistency. Next, uh, our teacher drew the diagram of heart on the blackboard and told the students to copy it in their notebooks. Mahesh couldn't see the diagram clearly as it appeared blurred to him. Name the defect of the eye Mahesh is suffering from. Myopia or nearsightedness. Individuals experiencing this condition struggle to see distant objects clearly, resulting in blurring of objects far away while still maintaining sharp focus in close objects. Where is the image formed in this defect? image is formed in front of the retina. This issue happens when the eye's power is excessive, typically due to shorter focal length of the crystalline lens. Next, Mahesh consults an eye doctor and is prescribed suitable lenses to correct the defect. Which type of lens do the spectacles have? A concave lens which diverges incoming rays to focus them on retina is commonly used to correct this condition. Question number 8. Define the term ultrafiltration. Ultrafiltration is a process that involves the filtration of blood in the glomerulus. Blood containing urea enters the glomerulus from afferent arteriole under high pressure due to the narrow efferent arteriole. The high pressure forces the liquid component of the blood to filter out from the glomerulus into the renal tubule, forming the glomerular filtrate. This filtrate contains water, urea, salt, glucose, and other plasma solutes. White blood cells, proteins, and large molecules are retained in the glomerulus. As a result, the blood carried away by the efferent arteriole is relatively concentrated. Next, which parts? Name the mineral elements required for clotting of blood or synthesis of thyroxine. Calcium is a vital mineral necessary for blood clotting. Activated by it is activated by thromboplastin released from blood platelets and serve as a cofactor for vitamin K, which aids in activating blood coagulation factors and promoting blood clotting. Next, synthesis of thyroxine. Iodine is the main constituent element of the thyroxine protein. Without iodine, the structure of thyroxine cannot be formed. Next, mention two harmful effects of noise pollution. Noise pollution can have a variety of harmful effects on living organisms. Constant exposure to loud noises can lead to hearing loss, sleep disturbances, increased stress levels, and even cardiovascular issues. In urban areas, noise pollution from traffic, construction sites, and industrial activities can disrupt wildlife habitats and interfere with their ability to communicate and find food. Additionally, excessive noise can impact our concentration levels, productivity at work or school, and overall quality of life. Next, why are RBC sufficient in their function though they lack nucleus and mitochondria? A mature mammalian red blood cell does not have a nucleus or mitochondria. The absence of a nucleus boosts the surface area volume ratio of red blood cells, allowing for more oxygen absorption. Additionally, the lack of nucleus shrinks the cell size, aiding in smooth flow through blood vessels and enabling a higher cell count in a confined space. Without mitochondria, the cell does not utilize the absorbed oxygen for respiration, enhancing its efficiency in oxygen transport by ensuring all absorbed oxygen is transported without loss. Erythrocytes rely on the anaerobic transformation of glucose to create and store high energy phosphates. Next, the diagram given below represents a stage in mitosis. Identify the stage above, anaphase. Give one reason to support your answer. The key event in anaphase include the splitting of centromere and separation of chromatids which then migrate to opposite poles. This is clearly visible in the given picture, hence it is anaphase. Next, mention the number of chromosomes given in the diagram. There are 8 chromosomes in the image. The parent cell had 4 chromosomes which duplicate during synthesis phase. At the time of anaphase, they split and divide themselves equally among the two daughter nuclei so that each new cell contains the same original 4 chromosomes. Icse 2023. The sex chromosome in human ovum is X chromosome. Every human has two sex chromosomes. Females have two X chromosomes and males have one X and one Y chromosome. The human ovum or egg always carries one X chromosome. On the other hand, sperm cells from the male carries either an X or Y chromosome. Next question. Which one of the following is a biodegradable waste? Flowers. মেটাল ক্যানস প্লাস্টিক ই ওয়েস্ট এগুলো কোনোটাই বায়োডিগ্রেডেবল নয় only flowers is biodegradable waste. Next question. The hard sound dub is produced when um, semilunar valves close. The dub sound or the second hard sound S2 occurs when semilunar valves মানে the pulmonary valve and the aortic valve close after the blood is ejected in the arteries from the ventricles. Mm, Next question. Deplasmolysis occurs when a plasmolysed cell is placed in tap water. Deplasmolysis occurs when a plasmolysed cell, mane shrunken due to loss of water, is placed in a hypotonic solution like tap water, causing the cell to swell as water enters. Plasmolysis occurs in hypertonic solution where water leaves the cell, causing it to shrink. Next, alpha cell of pancreas secrete glucagon. The pancreas contains different types of cells in the islet of Langerhans. Alpha cells are responsible for producing glucagon, a hormone that increases blood sugar level by stimulating the liver to convert stored glycogen into glucose and release it into the bloodstream. This is opposite to the action of insulin, which is produced by beta cell, lowers the blood sugar levels. Next, haploid number of chromosomes are found in sperms. The lifespan of RBC is 120 days. Haploid number of chromosomes are found in sperms. Haploid cells contain only one set of chromosomes, meaning half the number of chromosomes of a diploid cell. Sperms, eggs are sex cells or gametes are haploid because when combined during fertilization, restore the haploid state in a new organism. Nephrons are part of the kidney, neurons are nerve cells, and skin cells are somatic cells, all of which are diploid. Next, the statistical the lifespan of RBC is 120 days. Red blood cells or erythrocytes typically have a lifespan of about 120 days in the human body. After this period, they are usually broken down and recycled by the liver and spleen. Next, the statistical study of human population is called demography. Demography is the statistical study of human population, including the study of their size, structure, distribution, and spatial or temporal changes in them in response to birth, migration, aging, and death. Mortality is the study of death rates, natality is the study of birth rates, and equality is a general concept not specifically related to population studies. Next, the pale yellow color of normal human urine is due to the pigment called urochrome. Urochrome, also known as urobilin, a breakdown product of hemoglobin, gives urine its characteristic pale yellow color. Melanin is a pigment found in skin, hair, and eyes. Anthocyanin is a plant pigment, and hemoglobin is the oxygen carrying pigment in red blood cells. Next, stimulation of nerves of the sympathetic nervous system accelerates heartbeat. The sympathetic nervous system typically prepares the body for fight or flight responses. Stimulation of it usually results in accelerated heartbeat, increased blood pressure, and other physiological changes that enable rapid response to stress or danger. Constriction of pupils, increased peristalsis, and retarded heartbeat are generally associated with the parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes rest and digest activities. Next, the site of light reaction in cells of green leaf is grana of chloroplast. The grana, which are stacks of thylakoids in chloroplast of green leaves, are sites of light dependent reactions of photosynthesis where light energy is converted into chemical energy. In stroma region of chloroplast, dark reaction takes place. Next, Why the paper used to demonstrate unequal transpiration in dicot leaf is cobalt chloride paper. Cobalt chloride paper is used to demonstrate unequal transpiration in a dicot leaf. This paper is sensitive to moisture and changes color when it absorbs water, which makes it useful for showing the areas of the leaf where transpiration is occurring more intensely. Vitreous humor is present between lens and retina. The vitreous humor is a clear gel that fills the space between lens and retina in the eye. It helps to maintain the eye shape and allows light to pass through the retina. Aqueous humor is located between the cornea and the lens. Next, oxygenated blood to liver is supplied by hepatic artery. The hepatic artery supplies oxygenated blood to the liver. This is in contrast to the hepatic portal vein, which brings nutrient rich but deoxygenated blood from digestive organs to the liver for processing. Next, during synthesis phase of the cell cycle, more of DNA is synthesized. During synthesis, meaning S phase of the cell cycle, the amount of DNA in the cell is doubled. This phase is dedicated to the replication of cells, DNA preparing it for cell division. Next, name the following: the organelle that forms the aster during cell division. Centrosome, a genetic disorder in the blood, does not clot. Hemophilia, the permanent stoppage on menstruation in human females around the age of 45 years. Menopause, the offering or openings in the bark of trees through which transpiration occurs. Lenticels, a gaseous plant hormone which promotes ripening of fruits in ethylene. Next, arrange and rewrite the terms in each group group in correct order to be logical sequence beginning with the term that is underlined. Cabbage, rabbit, snake, hawk. Logical sequence: food chain from producer to top predator. Soil, water, root hair, cortical cells, xylem. Logical sequence: movement of water from soil to xylem. Next, receptor, spinal cord, effector, response. Logical sequence: sequence in reflex action. Conjunctiva, cornea, lens, fovea. Logical sequence: path of light entering the eye and associated structures. Testes, epididymis, sperm duct, urethra. Logical sequence: path of sperm during ejaculation. Next, match the following: hyposecretion of thyroxine in adults. Hyposecretion of thyroxine in adults, myxedema. Hyposecretion of insulin, diabetes mellitus. Hypersecretion of growth hormone in childhood, gigantism. Hyposecretion of ADH, diabetes insipidus, antidiuretic hormone. Hypersecretion of thyroxine, exophthalmic goiter. তাহলে hyposecretion of thyroxine in adults, myxedema. Hyposecretion of insulin, diabetes mellitus. Hypersecretion of growth hormone in childhood, gigantism. Hyposecretion of antidiuretic hormone, diabetes insipidus. Hypersecretion of thyroxine, exophthalmic goiter. Next, choose the odd one out. Used bandages, pesticides, face masks, syringes. Odd one is pesticides. Category of others, medical wastes. Next, dust, smoke, carbon monoxide, effluents. Odd one out is carbon monoxide. Category of others, industrial pollutants. Uterus, urethra, urinary bladder, ureter. Odd one out is uterus. Category of others, parts of urinary system. Next, menstrual phase, telophase, follicular phase, luteal phase. Uh, Telophase, category of others, menstrual cycle phases. Mellitus incus, Melius incus, cochlea steps. Odd one out is cochlea, category of others, bones of the ear. Next, state the exact location of the following structure: thyroid gland, located in the neck, just below the larynx and in front of trachea. Dura matter under the skull and vertebral column surrounds brain and spinal cord. Amniotic fluid. It is contained in the amniotic sac inside the uterus during pregnancy. Papillary muscle located in the ventricles of the heart are ventricles of the heart, islet of Langerhans. It is scattered throughout the pancreas. তাহলে thyroid gland located in the nape just below the larynx in front of the trachea, dura mater on the skull and vertebral column surrounds brain and spinal cord. Amniotic fluid is contained in the amniotic sac inside the uterus during pregnancy. Papillary muscle located in the ventricles of the heart, islet of Langerhans. It is scattered throughout the pancreas. Next question. Write the overall chemical reaction for photosynthesis. 6CO2 plus 6H2O gives C6H12O6 plus 6O2. এটা কেমন একটু যেন mention two functions of the blood. Two functions of the blood: transportation, responsible for transporting oxygen from lungs to the body. Uh, Cells also transport nutrients, hormones, and waste products throughout the body. Immune response. Our immune response key contains white blood cells which play a critical role in the immune system fighting of infections and foreign bodies. Next, differentiate between karyokinesis and cytokinesis. Karyokinesis process of nuclear division in cell, cytokinesis process of cytoplasmic division. Karyokinesis occurs during the M phase of the cell, মানে mitosis or meiosis. Karyokinesis follows karyokinesis in the cell cycle. Next, karyokinesis process of nuclear division in cell, cytokinesis process of cytoplasmic division. Karyokinesis occurs during the M phase of the cell cycle. M phase of the cell cycle মানে mitosis or meiosis. Cytokinesis follows karyokinesis in the cell cycle. এবার karyokinesis results in the segregation of chromosomes into daughter nuclei. Cytokinesis results in physical separation into two daughter cells. Next, excessive use of fertilizers in agricultural fields reduces yield of crops. Justify the statement. Excessive use of fertilizers can lead to soil degradation and nutrient imbalance. High concentration of high nutrients can be toxic to plants, and imbalance can lead to poor plant health and reduced resistance to diseases and pests. Moreover, over fertilization can lead to water pollution, affecting the overall ecosystem health and indirectly impacting crop yield. Next, study the diagram given below and answer the questions that follow. Name the phenomena depicted by the shoot in the above diagram. Uh, pro Phototropism is growth response to light. Which plant hormone plays an important role in the above movement? Auxin hormone. Complete and rewrite the statement by filling in the correct terms. Shoots show positive phototropism, whereas roots show positive geotropism. Next, expand the abbreviation DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. What is active transport? Active transport is defined as a process that involves the movement of molecules from a region of lower concentration to a region of higher concentration against the constituent gradient with the use of cellular energy. Next question. Mention two rafts of nitrogenous bases which pair with each other with hydrogen bonds. In DNA, the nitrogenous bases pair up with each other using hydrogen bonds in specific ways. Adenine pairs with thymine and guanine pairs with cytosine. Next, state Mendel's law of segregation. Mendel's law of segregation states that during the formation of gamete, each gene separates from each other so that each gamete carries only one allele for each trait. Draw a neat level diagram of human sperm. Acrosome মানে হেডটায় acrosome nucleus, middle piece centriole mitochondria, a teleaxial filament. Next, explain the term population density. Population density refers to the number of individuals living per unit area of land. The formula to calculate popular density is usually the total population divided by the total land area. Next, two surgical methods of population control: tubectomy for female, vasectomy for male. Mention two factors responsible for population explosion in India: decrease in the death rate due to improved medical facilities, with the birth rate remaining the same, is one of the major causes of population growth in India. As most families in rural areas are below the poverty line, they think having a large family will increase their source of income by sending children to work. Next, mention two resources which come under the pressure due to rising population. Two resources under pressure due to population explosion are natural resources like fresh air, water, energy, land and forests, agricultural. Next, agricultural and land resources. And next, question number 5. The diagram given below depicts the climate change on planet Earth. Answer the questions. Name the climatic phenomena for the increase in Earth's temperature. Two factors are decrease in death rate due to improved medical facilities, with the birth rate remaining the same, is one of the major causes of population growth in India. As most families in rural areas are below the poverty line, they think having a large family will increase their source of income by sending children to work. Two resources under pressure due to population explosion are natural resources like fresh air, water, energy, land, forests. Agriculture and food resources. এরপর বলছে name the climatic phenomena for the increase in Earth's temperature. Global warming. Mention one reason for this warming. Increase of industrial and automobile pollutants like carbon dioxide. Reduce. Next, what measure can be taken to prevent this climatic change? Reduce the generation of industrial and automobile pollutant. Reducing carbon emissions by using renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and hydropower. Reforestation and afforestation to increase the number of trees for absorbing carbon dioxide. Next, define transpiration. Transpiration is the process by which water is lost in the form of water vapor from the stomata present in the surface of the leaves and other aerial parts of plants. Next, stage 2: adaptations in plants to reduce transpiration, formation of spines and sunken stomata, thick cuticle layer on the surface of the leaves. Two functions of human fetal placenta. Two functions are to provide oxygen and nutrients to the growing fetus, to remove wastes produces from the fetus. Next, significance. Acha. So, what is the mention two functions of human fetal placenta? To provide oxygen and nutrients to the growing fetus, to remove wastes produces from the fetus. Next, significance of human testes being located in scrotal sac outside abdomen. Significant of human testes being located in scrotal sac outside the abdomen. Temperature regulation. The primary reason is to keep the testes at a temperature slightly lower than the body's core temperature, which is crucial for the production of viable sperm. Next, draw a neat label diagram of the Malpighian capsule. Malpighian capsule, efferent arteriole, Bowman's capsule, glomerular filtrate, renal tubule. Next, What is reflex action? A reflex action is an automatic, involuntary and rapid response to a stimulus that does not involve the conscious part of the brain. It is designed to protect the body and maintain homeostasis. An example is knee jerk reflex. Next, renal cortex is a dotted appearance and renal medulla has a striped appearance. Explain. Renal cortex has a dotted appearance due to the presence of numerous glomeruli responsible for filtering blood. The renal medulla has a striped appearance because of the arrangement of nephron segments and collecting ducts in a parallel manner, forming renal pyramids. These differing appearances reflect the distinct functions each part plays in urine formation and excretion. Next, distinguish between semicircular canals and utriculus based on their functions. Two functions are making postural adjustments to maintain balance. It moderates commands to motor neurons to compensate for shifts in body position. Next, distinguish between semicircular canals and utriculus based on their function. Semicircular canals and utriculus, utricle. Semicircular cannons maintain balance and equilibrium, particularly during movement. A utriculus is primarily responsible for detecting linear acceleration. Semicircular canals detect rotational movements of the head. Utriculus detect head position in respect to gravity. Next, question number 5. A potted plant with vegetated leaves was kept in dark for 24 hours and then placed in bright sunlight. Answer the questions. Which aspect of photosynthesis is being tested in the diagram? Role of chlorophyll for photosynthesis. In photosynthesis, what was the plant? Why was the plant kept in dark for 24 hours? The plant was kept in dark to deplete the leaves of starch. In presence of light, the plant cannot perform photosynthesis and a existing starch gets used up. Next, after the starch test, what will be the color of the yellow and green parts of the leaf? Give reason to support your answer. It will turn blue-black upon adding iodine, indicating the presence of starch. This is because chlorophyll in green plants can perform photosynthesis and produce starch. Yellow parts, these will remain unchanged or turn a light brown turn light brown, indicating the absence of starch. The lack of chlorophyll in these areas means no photosynthesis and thus no starch production. Next, define the term mutation. Mutation is a permanent change in DNA sequence of a gene, result of errors during DNA replication or repair, or from exposure to radiation or chemicals. These changes can affect a single DNA during block nucleotide during nucleotide or larger segments of chromosomes, leading negligible to significant changes in the organism's characteristics or health. Next, a pure breeding red flower variety of pea plant capital R duto is crossed with a pure breeding white flower variety of pea plant duto small r. Phenotypic ratio 3 is to 1. Capital R, small r will be red flowering, and duto small r will be white flowering plant. Next, draw a Punnett square. হয়ে গেছে Punnett square out of phylogenotypic and genotypic ratio of the progeny belonging to the F2 generation. Next question, genotypic ratio 1 is to 2 is to 1. আর জেনোটাইপিক রেশিও এটা, ফেনোটাইপিক রেশিও হচ্ছে 3:1. এবার নেক্সট, leaves of certain plants roll up on a hot sunny day. Explain giving examples. Leaves of certain plants roll up on hot sunny days primarily as a response to prevent water loss. This rolling up reduces the surface area exposed to the some area some air, thereby reducing water loss through transpiration. Additionally, it can also protect the leaf tissue from intense sun exposure, which can be damaging. Semi permeable membrane. What is semi-permeable membrane? Name the semi-permeable membrane present in plant cell. The membrane through which certain molecules can pass, but not the bigger molecules like solutes. It controls the movement of substances in or out of the cell. Semi-permeable membrane plant, the plasma membrane. কি বলছে? Name the semi-permeable membrane present in a plant cell. Semi-permeable membrane present in the small plant cell is the plasma membrane. Ventricle part. Next, the diagram depicts the human heart in one of its phases. Answer the questions that follow. Which part of the heart is in contraction phase? Ventricle part of the heart. Give a suitable reason to justify your answer. These are the lower two chambers of the heart. Distinguish between systole and diastole. Systole occurs when the heart contracts to pump blood out. Diastole occurs when the heart relaxes after a contraction. Systole occurs when the normal range of systolic blood pressure should be 110 to 120 mmHg. Diastole, the normal range of diastole blood pressure should be 70 to 80 mmHg. আর এই কোয়েশ্চেনটা যে ছিল না, এই যে draw a Punnett square to find out the genotypic and phenotypic ratio of the progeny belonging to the F2 generation, এটা হচ্ছে phenotypic ratio is 3 is to 1. Capital R small r will be red flowering and small r will be white flowering plant. Genotypic ratio is 1 is to 2 is to 1. Capital R dominant homozygous, capital R small r dominant heterozygous, small r recessive homozygous. These are the difference between systole and diastole.